The fragile balance, how younger criminals risk unraveling decades of hard-won legitimacy. In the underworld, power has never been just about muscle or money. It has always been about relationships, ties forged in loyalty, tested in hardship, and maintained through respect for hierarchy. For decades, seasoned veterans of organized crime have understood that survival depends not only on enforcing rules, but also on knowing when to bend them for the sake of peace, family, and long-term stability. Yet in recent years, a troubling shift has emerged. A younger generation of criminals, eager to prove themselves and impatient with tradition, often bypasses the unwritten codes that once governed the streets. They act without clearing moves with their elders, disregarding the delicate ecosystem of trust that has kept rivalries contained and friendships intact. The erosion of old friendships. What outsiders often fail to see is that many of these long-standing relationships extended far beyond the criminal world. Over time, bonds between families and associates often transitioned into legitimate business ventures, civic influence, and even political connections. These friendships, sometimes spanning decades, were not just about crime. They were about building stability, protecting families, and creating pathways out of the shadows. When younger actors ignore these bonds, they risk more than just angering their elders. They jeopardize the very legitimacy that older generations painstakingly cultivated. A rash decision, a reckless feud, or an alliance with outside chaos agents can unravel years of careful diplomacy. Chaos agents and the threat to legitimacy. The danger is not only internal. Opportunists from outside the traditional networks, whether rival groups, opportunistic hustlers, or even corrupt officials, can exploit these fractures. By sowing discord, they weaken the established order and invite instability. What was once a carefully balanced system of mutual respect can quickly devolve into unchecked criminality. The tragedy is that this instability does not remain confined to the underworld. Families who had long since left behind their criminal pasts, building legitimate businesses and reputations, can find themselves pulled back into the shadows. The sins of the younger generation risk contaminating the hard-won legitimacy of those who had already crossed into a different life. A delicate ecosystem at risk. The criminal world, paradoxically, has always relied on order. Hierarchies, codes of conduct, and respect for elders were not just traditions, they were survival mechanisms. When these are ignored, the system begins to collapse. And when it collapses, the fallout is not limited to those still active in crime. It seeps into legitimate enterprises, civic institutions, and even family life. The lesson is clear. The underworld is not just about crime, but about relationships. And when those relationships are disregarded, the consequences ripple far beyond the streets.